5 Outdoors is sponsored by Arkansas Game and Fish Commission.
Well, good to see everybody here on 5 News Plus for some more 5 Outdoors. We've got some good, exciting news when it comes to turkeys. We've got some opportunities for calendars and maybe even some opportunities for parents or guardians looking to get the kids involved in something this summer. It's a full episode here, joined by our friend Trey Reed from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. Trey, we've been talking about turkeys for the last few years that you and I have been doing this segment, and generally there's a theme to those discussions that the numbers have been struggling. But today we turn a new page. What can you tell us about this most recent turkey season?
Man, Scott, it was a phenomenal turkey season. Yeah, I mean, everybody, I think turkey hunters are happy, or turkey folks at Game and Fish and our commission are all happy about the results. Yeah, we checked just short of 14,000 birds this year, and that's a 20-year high. 2006 was the last time we exceeded this number of birds. And if you dive into the numbers, there's some pretty interesting stuff in there, and I'll give you this for an example. So our high water mark, if you will, our record turkey harvest in Arkansas was 2003, and it was just short of 20,000, 19,000 plus birds. Well, back then, it was legal for all hunters to take a Jake turkey, which is a 1-year-old gobbler, juvenile male turkey. So that's not the case anymore. As you well know, we've had some very conservative seasons, a later start, no Jakes for adult hunters, only one turkey the first week of the season under a couple of the season structures over the past few years. So we've been really conservative. But if you take out the Jakes that hunters shot in 2003, it was almost 5,000. So about 25% of the overall harvest was Jakes. So we subtract that out from the 2003 season, and you're at about 15,000 birds. So we really, this year, 2026, within about 1,000 birds of our all-time record turkey harvest in Arkansas, if you consider the changing regulations, almost like adjusting for inflation, if you will, is what I'm talking about, because Jakes were legal then, not now. So Jakes made up a really big percentage of the harvest in 03.
So you talk about some regulation changes. That's, of course, within the control of Game and Fish. Weather often isn't. I'm curious if you could speak to a little bit the difference between the last few springs and perhaps this one, and how that played a role.
Yeah, I mean, weather factors in a couple of ways. Number one, hunter effort and activity. I mean, if it's raining or the wind's blowing 30, 40 miles an hour, guys stay at home, people just don't want to go. So you have less activity and therefore less birds. But weather's a bigger factor in another way. So when we have wet springs, it's hard for turkeys to make a living, okay, especially those young poults, those newly hatched birds. They can't thermoregulate. I mean, like the cold, wet days we had in early May recently, this month, that's not good for those turkeys. They're now probably just starting to see hatch at that time when we had that cold on the opening first weekend of May. Really moving forward is what we're really worried about as far as survivability. Another thing that happens when it's really damp is scent is held longer. And so predators like coyotes, bobcats, things like that can smell out those young turkeys, which don't have quite the ability to evade them as an adult turkey does. So 23 and 24, we had fairly dry springs, or the timing of the rain was such that it did not affect that brood survival. And so we had really good brood production in both 2023 and 2024. So you think those are 2 and 3-year-old birds now. And so the male portion of that are mature adult gobblers, which is what hunters are after. And I think that's what we saw this season. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention that our season, we liberalized the season a little bit this year. Turkey hunters have had to sacrifice, over a number of years with later season start. Some other restrictions like I mentioned, only one gobbler the first week of the season under a couple of season structures that we've had in recent years. And so Our commission decided, at the request of turkey hunters for this season, we basically had a staggered opening day. Opened April 6th down in southeast Arkansas, really extreme east, beyond the Mississippi River levees. Zone 2, which is largely the coastal plain south of the Ouachitas, and sort of central delta, that opened April 13th, and then April 20th in our upland regions of the state, basically the northern 2/3 of Arkansas. So that likely contributed a little bit to an increased harvest by having multiple opening days in various zones. But I think a lot of it really also is a testament to that the good production we had in our brood production in 23 and 24. And I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and other partners like the Forest Service and the Nature Conservancy and NGOs like that, a lot of work being put on the ground across Arkansas right now, and then on private lands too. A lot of emphasis, as we've discussed here on 5 Outdoors before, about our private lands habitat division working with private landowners, but then our wildlife management division, working on public lands and working with partners on public lands to create better habitat for turkeys. And so I think all of, it's never like one cause that causes a problem, or never one solution. But I think if you take all these things together, that is a pretty good, complete picture of how we achieved the success we did this year.
It's complex, and not everything's under anyone's control. And so there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, really what we can control as the state agency that manages turkeys are the season dates, the season structure, the limits, the regulations, and then, the habitat work we can do. But obviously we can't control the weather. And so we can only, we can flip those levers that we can and then hope that Mother Nature cooperates. And this year it all came together.
I know the habitat a duck uses is a lot different than perhaps the habitat a turkey is going to utilize, but you start to think about this in terms of managing for one specific species. Management strategy for something else could be quite the opposite. In this case, a drier spring was great. On the other hand, this drought keeps getting worse. I know it's just May, but duck season's a few months away, and you're thinking, well, something's got to change pretty quickly.
Well, yeah. I mean, and just while I can go a lot of directions with drought. Like some of our construction projects, like the Big Lake Conway renovation, the dry has been wonderful for that. It has allowed us to do some good work on our green tree reservoirs, where we're changing the infrastructure so that we can manage water on and off those properties at the right times and wrong times of the year for it. Sure. That has allowed us to do some things, but then there's also there's winners and losers all the time, right? I mean, like,
it's never clean cut.
If we don't get some rain soon, we're going to have probably mass crop is not going to be as good as a result, which is going to feed deer and bear and ducks and squirrels and a lot of critters come fall. So, you look at fisheries, and as water level, now we had pretty stable water levels as a result of the lack of rainfall in our big upland reservoirs. Really good for the bass spawn. But, I think all of us at Game and Fish would probably like to see a little bit more rain to keep things a little more balanced, if you will.
And balance is my word. It's really just this minute moment in time between two different extremes. Balance is so hard to come by. You mentioned something about rain and fisheries. I just wanted to ask you, I don't even know if you can speak to this. Beaver tailwaters. So let me see if I can get this right. You know where I'm going with this? We got some news a couple days ago. Corps of Engineer going to open up some gates on the dam, which is not their typical move. They typically use the hydro.
Sure.
That's the right term.
Yeah, the hydropower generators, turbines.
Generators. Yeah. So the water is generally a little bit cooler there, funneling into the tailwater. In this case, it's probably going to be a bit warmer, maybe coming from the top.
That's right.
You mentioned in conjunction with you guys kind of working on that to make sure there is water flowing down the tailwater in a situation where, well, dadgummit, we might not have had some.
Right, yeah. I mean, you get a couple of things. Interesting story, and I don't know. I mean, we can go different directions with this, but our state record striped bass a lot of people don't. It's like 64 pounds. Was caught out of the beaver tailwater. Well, there should not be a
not the
striped
lake.
bass not the lake, which of course Beaver Lake is well known as a striped bass fishery.
Absolutely.
Probably our number one striped bass fishery in Arkansas as far as angler effort. But it shouldn't be those fish shouldn't be in the tailwater. That was the result, though, of a similar situation. I believe it was like in 2001, they opened the floodgates, and they didn't do it for about 10 years. And so we know, well, a striper obviously came over the dam with that water, and he got fat eating rainbow trout, stalker rainbow trout for a number of years until
Did someone
he reached
catch it with their hands, or they actually catch it on a lure?
No,
that big in the tailwaters, my word, you're going to stick out.
It was nuts because the angler Jeff Fletcher is who caught it. He's a well-known guide up in Northwest Arkansas and was actually guiding a client for trout. And they got lightweight trout gear that they're fishing with, and he saw the fish. I mean, a 64-pound silver line side will stand out in a small body of water, clear water, especially like the beaver tailwater. So he ran up to his truck, got a little bit heavier equipment, got the appropriate lure, and cast over there. And after a pretty epic battle, landed that thing. So I guess I tell that story to say a lot of interesting things can happen when you open those floodgates like that. Also, it does provide water, but there can be some concerns about water temperature. No, not so much right now because water temperature, surface water, probably still in the 60s. Now,
it is
much warmer than that.
Last week.
I saw your picture. Yeah, the water clarity looked amazing, by the way.
I saw so many fry that are, I just know are going to grow into big bass. When I tell you there's many.
We certainly hope so. And, getting back to the whole weather theme, like when we have, I don't think anybody wants a drought, right? I mean, there's a lot of complications, a lot of problems that can stem from that. But without a lot of fluctuating water levels, which basically forces the Corps of Engineers' hands to let some of that water go. Of course, that affects anglers. It's harder to wade fish in the tailwaters with it, but that water level in the lake, when it goes up and down, man, it can really have a pretty negative impact on your crappie and bass and spawn. So we had really consistent water levels, lower, but consistent. Sure. And that probably why you're seeing so many fry and fingerlings out there.
Yeah, well, that's it was good to see. You just have to hope that they're going to go into big old bass. Hey, let's talk about some calendars. Hard turn, right? We've gone from turkeys to tailwaters to calendars. Who knew? I love getting my magazine every couple of months. I love the Game and Fish calendar. Now is the time. If you don't know about it, or maybe this is a reminder to some, tell us a little bit about what you guys are offering again this year.
Yeah, so Arkansas Wildlife Magazine is our Game and Fish magazine. It's a bi-monthly, 6 issues, actually 5 issues, and then the 6th, the July-August issue every year is the Arkansas Wildlife Calendar. But the magazine is gorgeous. Lots of great stories. We'll keep you in the know about things Game and Fish is doing, maybe partner agencies, great photography. But the calendar, man, look, you see it. It's just gorgeous and incredible photography. Most of that by Mike Wintroth, our staff photographer at Game and Fish. He spends countless hours out in the field trying to get these images. But we used to sell the calendar separately as a one-off kind of deal, but we don't do that anymore. So really the only way to get it is to become a subscriber of Arkansas Wildlife Magazine. Now, it's $12 for 1 year of the magazine. Again, 5 regular issues in the calendar. The calendar, I promise you, is worth $12 by itself. We've got our calendar's a little bit different than most. You're like, why are we talking about a new calendar in May? Well, it's because it just went to the press, to the printer, and it is a July through July calendar. Now, the state fiscal year is July 1 through June 30th. That's one reason we do it, but primarily the reason we do it that way is because it allows us to get all the hunting season dates in. So this calendar, we just decided hunting season dates over the last couple of months through the regular regulations process. So The calendar will have, I mean, there's so much information in there. Sunrise and sunset times for every day of the year, all the major holidays and even some minor ones. But hunting season dates, opening and closing dates for alternative firearms, for modern gun deer, for archery deer, for duck season, squirrel season. I mean, you name it, and it is in this calendar. And again, I can't stress enough, it is breathtakingly beautiful, the photography and the whole layout and design of the calendar. One thing that's kind of cool this year, Scott, we're always looking for a way to kind of freshen up the calendar. Like, what can we do differently? Like 2 years ago, we solicited photos from an Arkansas wildlife Facebook group where we were seeing all these amazing photos. I'm like, well, let's source some photos and like make those people happy that submit the photos, and maybe pick up some interest in a different audience than what normally buys the calendar. We've last year, with the release of our River to Ridge Wildlife Management Area book, we highlighted a WMA each month in the calendar. So this year's new little wrinkle, little twist, QR codes next to every species that's represented in one of the photos. And when you scan that QR code, it takes you to an audio file with the vocalizations or sounds that those animals make. In the case of the bass, it's actually a bunch of water splashing.
Now, did you get a voice actor to do that, or did you stick a camera or a microphone down in the lake?
Oddly enough, I think it is from one of our videos that my team produces, and we caught some good fish down on Lower White Oak Lake in south central Arkansas, and had some pretty good splash activity there that day. And so we took a couple of, broke the sound files off of that and added them to the calendar.
I got to applaud the innovation. I don't know how you could make a calendar better, because like a calendar is generally just a calendar, but well done. You did really well there.
Yeah. Well, kudos to Jeannie Zaffarano, who is one of our graphic designers and artists, and she does the layout of the magazine and the calendar and has for years. And she said, why don't we do a QR code with sounds of animal vocalizations? And then we're like, I like it. Let's do it.
Sounds great. Let's do it. Hey, speaking of calendars, I'm acutely aware that we are about a week away from parents, grandparents, guardians pulling their hair out. Summer break just around the corner. Now's the time to start thinking about what to do with the kids. You guys have some fun and educational at the same time opportunities, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And always you think about our nature centers, right? Places to take the kids. They're air conditioned, so even in the heat of summer, great places to go. Morning or evenings, hiking trails and things like that around Lake Wells down at Fort Smith, and beautiful 3D archery course, and beautiful trails through a restored prairie at our Springdale Nature Center. But something specific, we are doing some summer camps this year, our education division, and they're most of those are held at nature centers or in conjunction with programming at nature centers. You can sign up, find out more at agfc.com, but Scott, is basically a day camp. It's like going to fishing camp. So we've got different levels from beginners and intermediate, but essentially you want to drop the kids off in the morning with a sack lunch. We'll take care of them. We'll teach them all about fishing, like what hooks and lines and baits to use, lures, natural bait, progress into species identification, the difference between a bluegill and a red ear and a crappie and a catfish. And here's the kicker. Here's the great part. The end of the 5-day camp is a trip to go fishing. So like, not only will your kids learn about fishing and conservation in Arkansas, I actually get to go out and put that knowledge to practical use with a day on the water.
I wasn't prepared to ask this, but for a friend, the upper age limit, 36?
Yeah, I think most of these are for school-age kids, so probably 17 or 18. But hey, we have programming for kids of all ages at those nature centers, and through, if you want to learn more about fishing, we got somebody who can help you out no matter how old you are.
That's exactly right. In fact, you guys have a great website that has all the different events, training, seminars. And most of it's free, and if it's not, it's dirt cheap. And some of it's really unique programming, from cast iron skillets to how to tie your own fly rod. I mean, there's all kinds of really interesting offerings there.
No, I mean, there's outdoor photography.
Yes.
You mentioned, yeah, Dutch oven cooking. Classes just on bird watching, where it's like, hey, here's some good places to go. Here's some species to look for. Here's the time of year these migrant birds are coming through. And so, yeah, whatever you're in, like Scott, so often, I mean, I know we cover a lot here on Five Outdoors, but people think about the game and fish as we're the hunting and fishing people. And we are, and we always will be, but we are much more than that. I mean, we want to welcome people into the world of conservation, whatever fires you up, jazzes you up, whether that's a pair of binoculars and a trail, somewhere there in Northwest Arkansas, or if that's getting out and catching something, bringing it home to eat, whatever the case may be. And we'll teach you how to cook that stuff too. That's
I was
another
going to say,
class
you'll teach us how to clean it and cook it, which is,
That's right.
just as important as catching it.
A
This
lot
has
of
been fun.
opportunities, whatever it is. Yeah.
And that website's updated routinely. I check it often. And at Fort Smith, Janet Huckabee Nature Center, you've got the JB and John L. Hunt Ozark Highlands Nature Center in Springdale. That might be the first time I've
Very
ever
good,
gotten
Scott.
the
I'm
full
proud of you.
title.
That's a mouthful.
Now, there was a brief pause that you probably noticed. I had to make sure I got it right. But they're conveniently located all across the 5 News area. Trey, this is always fun to catch up with you. We'll have to do this again real soon. Well, because we do every week. And so we'll be
Looking
back
forward
here
to it,
on
man.
5 News Plus with more game and fish talk next week here on 5 Outdoors.